Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian of supermastery.com, and welcome to my video review of the third installment of the Kung Fu Panda series, Kung Fu Panda 3. So let's get right into it. Now I should say right off the bat, I really like the Kung Fu Panda series. I thought the first film was absolutely great, and the sequel, Kung Fu Panda 2, was just not quite as great, not as good as the first, but still a really good and really entertaining sequel that was just that I had a lot of fun with. So I would definitely had a lot of I was definitely looking forward to the third film in the series, and just based on the first two films alone. But like all film series, you kind of wonder, is this film going to be as good as the other entries in the series, or is this going to be bad? Because especially when it comes to sort of animated films, some of them, some sort of long series of animated films can either be can start off really great and then just go completely downhill, Shrek, or they can just sort of go up and down in terms of quality of Ice Age. So I was definitely curious in that way which way Kung Fu Panda 3 was going to go. Now, having seen the film, I definitely can say without a doubt that this film continues the trend of the first two films. This was an absolutely entertaining and really fun sequel that, well, again, not quite on the level of the first two, but in its own way, it's still a really good film. I really enjoyed this one a lot. And in a way, to me, one of the most things that I don't think that sort of a lot of people don't give the Kung Fu Panda series credit for is that it's always so consistent. It's a consistently great series. Like, there's not just, even though there's only been 3 installments so far, it's been consistent in its quality. Like, there has not been a bad entry at all in this series, and this third film just continues that. It is, like I said, it's a lot of fun. The animation is absolutely spectacular. That's one of the things I love about the Kung Fu Panda series, is that animation-wise, the series just looks spectacular, and there's so many great and unique visuals, and there's a lot of that again in this one, particularly with certain sequences that are just so beautiful and so stunning, particularly with sort of flashback sequences and whatnot, and it is visually a spectacular looking film. And we also sort of get a bit of a look of the spirit realm in this one as well, which I thought visually looks stunning as well. And of course the entire cast is back. Jack Black continues to be really likable and in the role of Po the Panda, and of course Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie, Lucy Liu, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, and David Cross are all back in their roles as well. They're not given as much to do this time around as they did in the first two films, which I think is kind of probably one of my sort of few main negatives about the film, is that they aren't sort of really given that much to do. But this time, though, the film kind of focuses on, and very minor spoilers, but to be fair, this is the actual plot of the film and it is shown in the trailer, so it's not really too much of a spoiler. But if you haven't seen the other two films, I'm just going to say spoilers anyway, is that it's sort of about the relationship between Po and his long-lost father, voiced by Bryan Cranston, and it's sort of like their sort of key relationship is sort of the main drive in the film. And not only that, but also with Po's relationship with his adoptive father, who is voiced by, if I just forgot his name for a second, James Hong, and sort of his relationship too, and sort of him with Po dealing with the fact that his father, his long-lost father, who he thought had died, has come back into his life, and also how Po's adopted father, Mr. Pig, is sort of dealing with the fact that he maybe feels as though he's being left out and losing his son. And in a way, this film is the sort of the father and son dynamic between these 3 characters. But as the film goes along, you think it's going to go in sort of cliched areas in terms of that, but if anything, it doesn't. And if anything, that sort of does something really interesting with the relationship, well, with Po's relationship with both of his dads, and as well as we kind of see more as sort of the world of this film, like more new characters, and of course the sort of the spirit element of the film with the spirit realm and whatnot. And of course, we've been given a sort of a supernatural villain who was voiced by J.K. Simmons, who I thought was a pretty solid villain. Not an amazing villain, but a pretty solid one, though. And of course, we kind of get introduced to sort of new characters, one of which is voiced by Kate Hudson, which I'm kind of, even though she wasn't in the movie as much as I thought, and in a way, I found interesting is that I thought the film was going to set her something up with her character, but in a kind of a refreshing way, the film doesn't go down that sort of cliche route, which I thought was refreshing to me as a viewer. But at the same time, it doesn't really sort of give Kate Hudson's character that much to do. But at the same time, I mean, this is probably one of the best films that Kate Hudson has appeared in quite a long time. So I'm not gonna be, be too negative of her too much. But yeah, and also the sort of action sequences are spectacular. The score is by Hans Zimmer is terrific, and it like I said, it's just a lot of fun, and it's a really fun sequel, and that sort of continues the sort of consistent greatness of the Kung Fu Panda series. And in a way, it kind of shocks me that even as successful as these films are, they kind of are very underrated, because they're not as talked about as, say, like, Frozen or, the Shrek films and whatnot, or even How to Train Your Dragon. So, I don't know, it's weird, but to me, the Kung Fu Panda films are a great series, and this third film just continues that. And if you really enjoyed the first two films, definitely check this one out. I think you'll really enjoy it as well. So if I have to give Kung Fu Panda 3 a rating, I give it 4 stars. It is just awesome. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Kung Fu Panda 3. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone.